San Francisco 49ers here. The 49ers might have pulled off one of the biggest draft steals of the year. And no, this isn't just hype from a hopeful fan base. We're talking national attention, real analysts looking at this rookie and saying, how did everyone else miss this? The player in question is CJ West, a fourth-round defensive tackle who's already turning heads across the league. But before we get deep into West's rise and what it means for the Niners' revamped defense, we have to talk about something else that's been buzzing all around the 49ers offseason. The importance, or maybe the overimportance, of OTAs. Look, every offseason we get a little carried away. A guy throws a pick in a closed practice session, and suddenly the headlines read like he's lost it. Kyle Shanahan addressed this head on, and honestly, his take was kind of refreshing. He said that if a quarterback goes through all of these practices without throwing a single interception, he's probably not improving. And that's the truth. Shanahan made it clear that the media showing up and tallying stats during these non-contact, playbook-heavy sessions often skews the perception of what's actually going on. These practices are designed for experimentation. It's the one time a year when you're allowed to try the wild stuff without the scoreboard lighting up against you. So when Brock Purdy throws a pick in practice, it's not the end of the world. It might actually be a sign he's pushing himself. Shanahan even implied that focusing too much on clean stat sheets in OTAs is counterproductive. Yesterday, Brock threw a couple picks. Today, none. Does that mean he got better overnight? Or does it mean he was playing it safer? Maybe not testing the boundaries the way he should. This is where context matters more than numbers, and Shanahan knows it. It's not about who's winning in June, it's about who's getting better for September. And speaking of Brock Purdy, let's talk about his velocity. Today's practice footage showed something that jumped out to fans and analysts alike. Purdy wasn't just throwing the ball, he was zipping it. We're not talking about floaty checkdowns or cautious lob passes. These were darts. The trajectory, the RPMs, the confidence behind the throws, it looked like a different layer of Purdy's game. Now, this isn't what we usually associate with him. He's not known as a dart thrower per se, but that might be changing. The fact that he's working on this during OTAs, experimenting with faster releases and more aggressive passing angles, could be a glimpse of a more complete version of himself emerging. The question is, are we reading too much into this? Or is this the kind of growth you want to see from your starting quarterback in the offseason? Personally, I'm leaning toward the latter. Now, let's shift gears and talk about CJ West, because this might be the sleeper story of the entire offseason. CBS Sports analyst Chris Trapasso recently highlighted several rookies drafted outside the first round who are expected to make a serious impact in 2025. And guess whose name popped up? Yep, CJ West. The 49ers throne, the 49ers grabbed him in the fourth round, and yet according to Trapasso, West was as advanced a run stuffer as any defensive tackle in the entire draft class. Think about that. The best run stuffing DT in the draft available in round 4. That's not just value, that's a potential steal of the year. West comes in at 6'1", 315 pounds, and he ran a 4.95 40 at the combine. That's not just fast for a big man, that's shockingly fast. His game is built on explosiveness and leverage. He's not towering over guys, but he wins with technique and quickness. What's most exciting, though, is how well this fits with the 49ers' clear off-season strategy. After a rough 2024 where their run defense was ranked near the bottom of the league, San Francisco made it a priority to rebuild their defensive line from the inside out. They drafted 3 defensive linemen, all of whom posted elite run defense, grades on Pro Football Focus last season. CJ West led the pack with an eye-popping 88.1. That's not just good, that's elite. And when you pair West with the rest of the new look front, suddenly this defense starts to look a lot scarier. The 49ers didn't just want big bodies, they wanted disruptors, guys who can play all 3 downs. West might have entered the league with a reputation as a run stuffer, but he's got twitch and technique that suggests he could develop into a true interior pass rusher as well. And let's be real, that's the kind of guy San Francisco hasn't had in years. They've had solid role players, but nobody with the ceiling to be dominant inside. West could be that guy. And the best part? They didn't have to burn a first-round pick to get him, but of course none of this works without health, and that's where the latest update from PFF really puts things into perspective. They released their most optimistic take for each NFL team heading into 2025, and for the 49ers, it was simple: a return to health. Last season was a nightmare for injuries. Only 4 of their offensive starters played all 17 games. Christian McCaffrey, Brandon Ayuk, and Trent Williams all missed major time. The defensive line was basically held together with duct tape by the end of the season. Just getting these guys back to full strength could be the biggest upgrade the team makes. And speaking of McCaffrey, he spoke to the media this week after practice and made it clear he feels great. He talked about how he treated the offseason like a full reset, mentally, physically, emotionally. He didn't miss a single OTA session, which is something you don't often see from veterans of his caliber. Usually they're excused taking it slow, avoiding any unnecessary wear and tear. But McCaffrey, he was all in. That's the tone setter you want in your locker room. A guy who's not just waiting for September, but is pushing himself in June to be at peak form when it really counts. The optimism doesn't stop there. Around the team facility, there's this sense that things are clicking in a way they haven't in a long time. No drama, no contract holdouts, no lingering Super Bowl hangover. Kyle Shanahan has had a drama-free spring, and that's not something you can say every year. Attendance at camp is high. Vibes are good. There's a real hunger in the building to prove last year was the fluke, not the rule. Now, let's get back to Brandon Ayuk for a moment. There were some concerns earlier in the offseason about whether he was totally bought in. He's in the middle of some tough contract talks, and it's easy for things to get tense. But what the 49ers did recently might have been a masterstroke. At minicamp, Ayuk was seen in a huddle with none other than Frank Gore, Patrick Willis, and Terrell Owens. 3 absolute legends, each with a very different approach and personality, but all of them guys who know what it means to be great in San Francisco. Word is T.O. had some strong words for Ayuk. Not in a bad way, but in a motivating way. And when you get pulled aside by that trio, you listen. That's the kind of moment that can shift a young star's perspective. No downside there, only upside. Before we wrap this part, let's touch quickly on the kicking game. Because yes, even that has a little off-season intrigue. Greg Joseph went a perfect 7 for 7 at minicamp, nailing everything from 27 to 55 yards. Now, we're not going to make a huge deal out of this. It's minicamp. Kickers should be making these kicks. It's like Steph Curry knocking down warm-up threes. But it's worth noting because there's a real competition brewing between Joseph and Jake Moody. Moody, last year's starter, had a rough ending to the season and missed a kick that could have changed the team's playoff fate. So this isn't just filler content. This is a real position battle. The team is treating it like one, rotating the kickers, putting pressure on both, and seeing who steps up. Look, no one's saying Greg Joseph is going to walk in and steal the job. But if Moody falters, the team needs a plan B. That's just smart football management. And this competition might be the pressure cooker Moody needs to prove he's the guy. Either way, it beats the alternative, cutting Moody outright and dealing with all the fallout. This way, it's earned. If he wins it, he earns it. If he loses it, then it was never really his to begin with. So here we are, about 6 weeks out from training camp, roughly 43 days. It feels like a long time, but it also feels like we're almost there. We've got roster battles to sort out, positions to analyze, and a whole lot of content to break down as we get closer. And while it's easy to overreact to every piece of OTA footage or every quote from a player, the truth is this is when teams are built. This is when the foundation is laid. And if what we've seen so far is any indication, the 2025 49ers might be one of the most focused, cohesive, and downright dangerous teams heading into the season. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. In a twist that no one saw coming, or perhaps everyone secretly dreamed about, whispers around the league are growing louder. Tom Brady could be making a shocking return to the NFL. This time not under center, but possibly wearing a headset as the new head coach of the San Francisco 49ers. And if that's not enough to raise eyebrows, sources close to the situation suggest that current head coach Kyle Shanahan may have already tendered his resignation behind closed doors. While nothing has been confirmed officially, the speculation, is gaining traction. Several insiders claim Brady has been spotted around the Bay Area in recent weeks, including an alleged private visit to Levi's Stadium. Some say it was just a courtesy call. Others believe it was much more, a preliminary meeting with the front office to discuss a potential leadership role. The idea of Brady transitioning from the GOAT on the field to a coaching legend on the sidelines may sound like a Hollywood script, but in today's NFL, anything seems possible. Shanahan's name, meanwhile, has quietly been linked to other opportunities, and murmurs suggest he's grown frustrated behind the scenes. A surprise playoff exit, internal tension, and possibly philosophical differences with team executives have only fueled the fire. The talk of him stepping down is still very much in the realm of speculation, but more than one league insider insists the writing may be on the wall. Of course, this wouldn't be Brady's first link to the 49ers. The San Mateo native grew up idolizing Joe Montana and once dreamed of playing for the team. While that chapter never materialized during his playing days, perhaps fate has other plans. Coaching would mark a new era, not just for Brady, but for the entire NFL, and especially a team like the 49ers, already brimming with talent but perhaps searching for the final piece to a championship puzzle. Is this all just smoke without fire? Or is a Brady-led 49ers future already in motion? For now, it's all rumor and intrigue, but stay tuned. The NFL offseason just got a lot more interesting. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.